on a trip, do you find yourself packing way too much and never even using half of it? Well, today I'm going to show you what you really need to pack for a 5-day trip to the Caribbean. Hi, I'm Zoe, a digital nomad who travels around the world on a budget. I recently returned from a 5-day trip to Jamaica, and all that I brought with me was a backpack and a small carry-on. And for me, that was a lot. You see, I traveled around Southeast Asia this summer with just a backpack, and it was while backpacking that I realized how little I really need. Let me show you what that is. Number one, let's think about what clothes we're gonna bring. For a 5-day trip to the Caribbean, you don't necessarily need a ton of clothes, and you definitely don't need winter clothes. Personally, what I would bring is one pair of pants, 1 or 2 pairs of shorts, maybe a dress or a nice shirt, and then a couple of t-shirts and tank tops to fill out the rest. And of course, a swimsuit. Outside of that, you don't really need that many options. I mean, of course, you'll need your essentials like underwear and things like that, but you don't necessarily need 10 different dresses and 5 different pairs of pants and a whole bunch of different options. I think being more minimalistic and knowing that you're only going for 5 days, so maybe 5 shirts and then reusing your pants and shorts will be perfectly fine for your trip. And again, remember that a lot of the time you're going to be swimming in the water on the beach, so your swimsuit will be really important. Maybe even bring 2 swimsuits if you do want to bring more of something, but I definitely recommend limiting yourself at 5 shirts, 1 pair of pants, and just 1 or 2 pairs of shorts. In the same vein as clothes are your shoes. This is where I see most people go really overboard, and honestly, it's not really necessary. As I said, I backpacked this summer and all I brought was 1 pair of flip-flops and 1 pair of sneakers, and that was it. And for me, these shoes fit 99% of all scenarios. I think the only time you'd want to bring maybe a pair of heels or fancier shoes is if you knew you were going to a fancier occasion. But honestly, when you're going on a 5-day vacation to Jamaica, the flip-flops, as long as they're nice enough, can suit pretty much every occasion that you're going to, especially when you dress it up with a dress or a nice outfit on top. And the awesome thing about only packing 2 pairs of shoes is that you're going to be wearing one of these shoes. So I typically wear my sneakers to the airport, and that way I have a lot more space in my bag going forward. On this most recent trip to Jamaica, the only time I found myself needing a new pair of shoes was when we were climbing YS Falls, the waterfall in St. Elizabeth. There they required that you have on water shoes, so I went to the gift shop and paid I think about $10 for a pair of water shoes that actually had a Jamaica logo on it. So I was happy to buy the pair of water shoes, not just as a pair of shoes for the day, but as a souvenir and water shoes that I can wear in the future. That was the sort of 1% of scenarios where it would have been good to have a pair of water shoes, but again, water shoes wouldn't have been something I would have packed as my 3rd pair of shoes. So as I said, 99% of scenarios, having a pair of flip-flops and a pair of sneakers are perfectly fine. If you do plan to climb a waterfall, maybe bring a pair of water shoes, or just buy a pair there if you're unsure of what activities you're going to be doing. So the 3rd thing you're going to want to think about are your electronics. What electronics are you bringing? Is this a working vacation or a vacation where you completely unplug from being connected to your job and responsibilities and things like that? That will depend whether or not you bring a laptop. I personally travel almost everywhere with my laptop, so I brought my laptop with this setup, and then I'll usually carry a camera and my phone and some chargers. Limiting the number of electronics you bring will also lower the weight of your bags, so just really think about what electronics are you actually going to use on this trip. If you don't think you're going to really be doing any laptop work, then don't bring it, you know? You can have your camera and edit your pictures when you get home if that's what you're into. And yeah, you can also just use your phone. So we've decided what we're going to bring. Now, let's think about what bag we want to bring with us. This summer when I was backpacking, I only had my 1 backpack. And for me, that fit everything I needed. As you can see, my clothes don't take up a lot of room, so I'm really able to cram a lot of stuff into a large backpack. So for me, that was perfect. But I understand that for a lot of people, you know, maybe you have larger size clothes, more bulky clothes, your shoes are bigger, things like that. I'm pretty small, so a lot of my clothes are really tiny compared to more average size people. But I would definitely recommend trying to stick maybe not to just a backpack, but a backpack and a carry-on. There's so many reasons I limit myself to just a backpack and a carry-on outside of the convenience of only having 2 things to carry. When you get to your actual destination, as long as you haven't gate checked your bag, you can just walk out of the airport once you go through customs and immigration, of course, but you don't have to wait on the carousel to return your bag. Sometimes that takes 10 minutes, sometimes that takes 45 minutes. So would definitely recommend trying to limit yourself to just stuff that you can carry, especially when you're going on a super short trip where every moment is precious. So which backpack do I use? Well, this is the backpack I use. It's a Tool backpack. I bought it a couple of years ago when my old backpack gave up in the middle of a trip, and it's served me really, really well. As I said, I brought this backpack pretty much around the world at this point, and for using it every day, it's held up really well. So pretty much everything I need can fit in this backpack. I can fit more than 1 laptop, all of my clothes, a pair of shoes, flip-flops. I can even shove a pair of sneakers in there if I wanted to, my toiletries, my documents. Everything I need, if I needed to, could fit in this backpack. And the awesome thing about this backpack is that it has a very tight design. On the airplane, I can actually fit it underneath the seat in front of me, so there's no reason for me to have it above in the overhead bin, or if there's no space, I don't actually have to check it like I know a lot of backpackers sometimes end up having to do with their larger backpacking size backpack. This is especially important to me if I'm gonna have everything I need in this bag. Having it really close to me at arm's reach is essential. That's just the backpack. But we're talking about bringing a backpack and a carry-on. The carry-on that I use is this Delcy carry-on right here. I've had this for many years at this point. It's traveled to so many destinations, and it's held up, I think, considerably really well. This carry-on can fit everything my backpack can fit times 2. So when I'm using this carry-on, my backpack is very, very light. I'll usually just keep my camera and my laptop and my documents in there, and my purse with my essential everyday items. But all of my clothes, all of my shoes, everything can fit in there with room. And that brings me to my last tip. Leave room in your bags for souvenirs. Especially when you're going to a place like Jamaica, you'll want to bring stuff back home. You might want to bring home a bottle of rum, or some coffee, or some jerk seasoning. These are all things that are made in Jamaica and might be difficult for you to access, or more expensive for you to access when you get back to your home destination. So definitely leave room for souvenirs, especially when you're traveling to the Caribbean. If you're from somewhere that is not of a similar climate, there are going to be things you see that you can't get at home that you would love to take home. So make sure you leave room for that option as well. And that's what I pack in my bag for a 5-day trip to the Caribbean. If you like this video, consider hitting the like button or subscribing if you want to see more content like this. And if you're interested in taking a trip to Jamaica soon, check out this video. It has a bunch of tips and tricks that I'd recommend for your next trip to Jamaica. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.